Welcome to YOUCANIC. Today here in YOUCANIC we have a 2016 Mazda CX-5. On this CX-5 we have a 2.5 liter Skyactiv engine in here, and we are going to go over how you would remove the tensioner to be able to remove the tensioner if you're replacing that tensioner. Also, you'll need to be able to know how to remove that tensioner if you're going to go ahead and replace the alternator. There's a bolt that you can't get out without the tensioner removed. So we're going to go over that process. So to start with, you'll raise up the vehicle and you will be able to remove the right hand tire, which is your driver's or your passenger side tire. So remove that tire, and then there's a shield down there, plastic shield to remove, as well as the splash shield on the bottom has been removed, just for more ease of access to get to the bolts and that we need to remove this. So it's all placed right down in here. This is the portion of the tensioner. Can't get the best camera angle on it, but your portion of your tensioner, you have one bolt up top here. We have another bolt that's down mid-range, and then we have a solid piece that needs to be, that we use to release the tension. So we will get to that. And then this is the way your belt diagram would look. Right, so we're going to remove this belt here on the outside as well as this tensioner, and then this belt goes on the back, and that is a stretch belt for the water pump and the crankshaft. Right, it comes around the crank, the AC, alternator, and through this tensioner. We got a bolt up here and a bolt midway here, and then we'll release that tension. So we're going to go down under where we can release the tension and then start removing these two bolts to get this out of the way. So from this side, there is this plastic cover here. It's held on with 4 push pins, so you would just remove those 4 push pins, and then you'll be able to remove this cover. Down here, with that panel removed, we now have access to the tensioner and the bolts that we'll need to loosen out to remove that tensioner. Now, we have, this is a stubby socket that's on there. You can see it up there to be able to release the tension to get this belt to come off, and then we can remove the 2 bolts that hold the tensioner on. So I have the wrench there, so whether you can get a socket on there and a small ratchet in there, or you get your get a stubby on there and then a 17 millimeter for this one. We'll need to go in the counterclockwise motion to be able to release that tension. And it's a hydraulic spring, so it if you're just gonna pull on it easily, and then it'll push back. And so now, once we've done that, then we'll be able to remove this belt and then ease this off. And we get that out of the way. And so now we have this 12 millimeter to undo. So with that bottom one removed, we now have access to the one up top here that's on the top of that tensioner. So we have access to that bolt, and this is with the wheel well cover removed also, but we can get an extension and a number 12 right there to be able to undo that bolt. Okay, so we have that nut undone. Alright, so we got the tensioner out. Depending, you may need to remove that stud, but it seems like we didn't have to. Because now we're going to see if we can pull the tensioner out up through the top. Right, so we're going to reach in here. and to be able to position and to remove our tensioner, which this is the tensioner unit, but then this whole tensioner mechanism with its idler pulley is mounted on it. That has been removed, and now to put it back on, you put it back in the reverse order. Now we're going to be able to slide this back in. We have this bolt that we need to get lined up. There's a little channel down there that this needs to go into, and then you'll be able to put this bolt on the stud. May need to remove the stud to be able to get this on, but we got it out without removing the stud, so hopefully we can get it in without. Okay, not too bad. We got that down there, sitting in there, and now that lined up. Okay, so we've got that started. It's a size 12. We also need to put a nut on the top here, but we can gain access to that through this fender well right into there. I can put that on. So we'll go down to the bottom where we have better access. So right up here, this is in the wheel well, and it's right through there. There is a stud there that holds a number 12 nut that is to attach the top portion of the tensioner on your vehicle. And so we've got that to be able to be started. We'll snug that down here shortly. We have the bottom one right there. Alright, we've tightened that one into place. Go ahead and tighten the top one of the tensioner bolt in place. And so that would be the install of your tensioner. Then you would go ahead and reinstall your serpentine belt for your alternator, or if you're putting a new serpentine belt on, you just go ahead and reinstall that. Okay, so we're going to take this serpentine belt, squeeze it to get it up through onto the alternator. Okay, so we've got it around the AC compressor, and now we're going to come around the crankshaft, but we need to be able to loosen the undo the tension on the tensioner. Okay, so we get our $17mm on there. We had loosened the tension. We were able to get the belt wrapped around the pulleys, and all the ribs are inside the grooves where they need to be. Thank you for watching YOUCANIC, where you could be the mechanic.